All right, here we are. All right, here we are. All right, boom. Here we are, fam. All right, we got it, guys. Let's get into this. All right, fam, welcome to All right, I figured it out. All right, fam. Sorry for the giant delay. I did not realize that today is movie night. This is the first ever movie night on this channel. I hope to do plenty more. Let me open this window because I'm sweating my balls off, guys. I'm right next to the heater in my apartment. And boy, let me tell you, this thing is no joke. I'm not wearing a t-shirt either. I am dying. Holy shit. All right, so guys, today's movie night, we're gonna be watching a movie called Bokeh. It is 20 minutes long and it is about bokeh. I don't know if any of you guys know what bokeh is, but bokeh is the crazy stuff that happens when you use a shallow depth of field and you take like a portrait or something like that. You get like a beautiful sort of blurred, I don't know what it is. Like, is there, like, what is bokeh? Like, I don't know what the breakdown of bokeh is. I'd be very curious. So yeah, we're gonna watch the movie about bokeh. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm very excited because I've never heard anything about bokeh. So I'm super stoked to watch this movie and share it with you guys. This is really exciting. This is the first ever movie night. I want to do one a week at least. It's fun content. I enjoy this. I get to sit on the couch, kick off my shoes, guys. Take off your shoes. Get your drink ready. We're about to have some fun. I got something that's just going to ruin my insides. A little bit of bang, baby. So yeah, that's where we are. Glad I figured everything out. Everything is good to go. Take the socks off too, right? Oh, it feels good. All right. So, guys, we're going to give us a few more minutes. Let people come on in. Make sure they see the stream. People are probably chilling on YouTube right now. So, yeah, I'm excited. This is going to be really sick. Share it with your friends, your mother, your sister, your brother, your date. Not your date. I will steal your girl. Just kidding. Yeah. So yeah, bokeh. It's by this guy on YouTube named Simon Utok. Pretty crazy. Should be pretty crazy. I'm excited. I can't wait to share this with you guys. So, what else is new? Did you guys, any of you guys see my live stream this morning? I streamed in the morning. That was a lot of fun. I messed up so many times during that live stream, but I feel a whole lot better about it now that I figured it out, and I'm not doubling my audio. I think this looks really cool. So, let's go. There, damn, forgot the O. All right. Fun fact, I'm actually going to be rebranding this channel to my personal channel. This is like a pretty personality-driven channel, and I'm just going to change it back to the Bruce Allen. All right, anyways, guys, let's get into it. Let's watch. Boom. All right. You guys ready?
This is one of the most subjective areas in photography today. We can't even agree how to pronounce the word. I'm going to go for bokeh, but it could easily be bouquet, like a bunch of flowers. I'm going to start the video with a description of bokeh, something that is a lot more than background blur.
You guys know what bokeh is? You know what it is, right? I pray you know what bokeh is.
And I'll cover the differences of opinion about good and bad bokeh. And then I'm going to take the discussion down a slightly different route, by looking briefly at how artists painted or didn't paint out-of-focus areas in their art before the invention of photography. I'll explain how the early photographers followed these artistic conventions until the advent of more advanced film and digital cameras, with digital cameras in particular changing the way we use bokeh in a new artistic way. Bokeh is a...
Whoa, did he just say that bokeh is a side effect of digital photography? We can't. My film fans, guys, do we really not have bokeh with film photography? Is that a thing? I didn't know that. I guess I've never noticed or tried to get bokeh with film photography. That would be a good YouTube video. Bokeh film photography. Wait, a word derived from Japanese meaning blur or quality. So bokeh literally means quality blur. That's pretty crazy.
Essentially all about the aesthetic quality of the out of focus parts of an image. And the most commonly agreed characteristics of good bokeh is that good bokeh should be smooth, it should look natural, with smooth transitions from in-focus to out-of-focus areas. Bokeh is often associated with images taken with wide open apertures and ultra-fast lenses, where there's a very narrow depth of field, and good bokeh gives a 3D pop to the image, because the subject in focus is isolated against the blurred.
So is that fur considered bokeh? Like, that's not bokeh, is it? Like, a blurry background is bokeh? Is that am I right? Right? Is that why he's showing his cat photo? So anything that's blurry and not in the foreground is bokeh. It's confusing.
Background. However, bokeh can be a lot more than smooth backgrounds and transitions taken wide open. First of all, you can have foreground bokeh, not just background bokeh. Having blurred objects in the foreground can really help give a sense of depth to an image. If, for example, you take a photo looking down a...
Look at all that bokeh. Look at the plant bokeh, like the leaves of the plant. On the left side, you see that? That's pretty cray-cray, huh?
fence or railings, then the foreground bokeh can give as strong a sense of perspective as the background blur. Secondly, not all bokeh photographs have large subjects in the middle of the frame in sharp focus, together with some out-of-focus blur, like the classic portrait compositions. Some of the most beautiful images, in my opinion, hardly have any objects in focus, or at least the in-focus parts are only a small part of the overall image.
Is that true? You guys think blur is sexy? Or like you prefer blur? You guys really prefer blur? I don't know if I prefer blur. I remember when I first started photography, I was super about a shallow depth of field. And I got the chat right here so I can see you guys. I used to be all about a shallow depth of field. Now, I feel like I changed as I got older, but now I kind of want to blur some shit out again.
This can create a lovely, dreamy, painterly look, almost like a watercolor painting. Thirdly, not all great bokeh images are taken at wide open apertures. Indeed, some of the most famous bokeh monster lenses are famous not because they're great lenses wide open, but because they're great lenses stopped down. I'm thinking especially of bokeh monsters that have loads of aperture blades, 15 or more blades. These are lenses that allow you to stop down and include more details in the background, but also retain relatively smooth bokeh shapes. And speaking of...
So the more blades, the smoother the bokeh. Wow, look at that bokeh. That looks crazy. That's some crazy bokeh right there. That's like bokeh on bokehception. That's some Inception bokeh shit, right?
About shapes, there's a wonderful variety of shapes that lenses can produce in out-of-focus areas, especially in the right light. For example, bokeh circles, cat's eyes.
Oh, that is so sick.
Bubble bokeh.
What? That is so cool.
Where there are obvious lines around the circles. Onion ring bokeh with rings within the rings.
Okay, onion ring bokeh? He's making this shit up. Onion ring? I have never seen this before in my life.
And donut bokeh from mirror lenses.
Donut bokeh? Mirrored lenses have a donut bokeh? I have never seen that shit.
Different numbers of aperture blades can produce different kinds of geometric shapes or bokegons, such as hexagons, octagons, even this pentadecagon, or 15-sided shape.
What?
And ninjas and sawtooth shapes.
Oh, whoa. Time out. Time out. Did y'all see that one? Look at this.
Or 15-sided shape. And ninjas.
Dude, the Helios 40? What is that? I need to know what that is. Look at that freaking bokeh.
And sawtooth shapes. And then, of course, the swirly bokeh.
Ooh, that's nice. It's like a... Oh my god, it's so cool. Oh my god. Oh, that was embarrassing. You didn't see that. That's so embarrassing that I can see a replay of me doing that. I don't want to know what that looked like. But yeah, no, the Lomography Petzval lens has a sort of circular circular swirl bokeh.
As well as flares and starbursts or sunbursts and other
Oh my
effects I probably missed.
god.
You can also modify your lenses, changing the number of blades or reversing the glass elements as I've done here.
What? Wait, time out. Can we go back? What? Front element reversed on Helios 44-2. Yo, I have never seen bokeh like that in my life. Right? Like, what does that mean, front element reversed? Does it mean he took his lens and literally switched it?
Reversing the glass elements as I've done here. Or putting filters on your lenses. These are homemade filters with square
What?
shapes.
How do you do a square bokeh?
Waterfall effects,
That's really cool.
arrows.
Wait. Arrows? You have you ever... Alright, whatever. I'm gonna let this guy rock.
Stars, and so on.
I've seen that.
It is interesting to see how different people react to bokeh images posted online. Some people like very smooth, unobtrusive bokeh, taken wide open, with few details in the blurs, but others think that over-smooth bokeh is overdone and looks unnatural. There's also some disagreement about bokeh shapes. Some professional lens reviewers seem to like smooth, round shapes in all images, right across the frame, while other people argue that cat's eyes can give a better sense of depth and perspective, and are more interesting. And then
That's some nerdy shit to be arguing about your shape of bokeh and how it creates depth in your photo. Maybe I'm missing something.
there's a perennial debate about busy bokeh, epitomized with people's reactions to the swirly bokeh
That's
from
actually
Helios
tight.
lenses. The
That's
swirls
wow.
definitely divide opinion into lovers and haters. There are plenty of articles and debates online about good and bad bokeh. The one on the screen, for example, is a good read, as are the below-the-line comments. Amongst other things, the author points out that the term bokeh was first introduced to the photographic world in 1997 in 3 articles in Photo Techniques magazines, edited by Mike Johnston.
Okay.
Although, of course, the subject of blur and out-of-focus highlights had been discussed by photographers long before then. Anyway, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm going to take this video down a different route. And to start the discussion, we
Yeah.
need to look at what the human eye actually
go.
sees when it focuses on a subject. If
Yeah.
you focus on a
I am kinda
subject around a meter,
Yo, have you thought about that? What bokeh in your eye looks like? Oh my god, I feel so stupid. You know what I can think about bokeh is, have you guys ever done shrooms? I'm like looking around to make sure no one's listening. If you've ever done shrooms, you see a bokeh like a starburst on streetlights. It's really cool. It's really trippy.
away, with a long perspective behind that subject, you can see the kind of fall-off in details your eyes produce away from the subject in focus, and how this looks natural, assuming you don't suffer from tunnel vision. Obviously, I can't show you this human natural view of blur here, but I can try to recreate it somewhat, using a camera and a 30mm lens, with a longer perspective looking down a street, and then focusing in on a closer subject, around a meter away. As you can see, the background becomes less defined and less detailed as we focus in on the details of the closer subject. Our eyes and brains are simply not able, or willing, to keep everything in focus.
Yeah, there's no way you're detecting everything your eyes are seeing. You're only detecting a point and your eyes blurring the rest. Yo, that's crazy. What if we blurred things that aren't the center of focus? What if we blurred those things, like our brain blurred those things to protect us from like information overload? Conspiracy theory.
Now, the amount of bokeh in the video, of course, depends on the aperture set.
So guys, if you're just joining, we are watching a movie about bokeh. This guy has made the most epic movie about bokeh. I've already got my mind blown like 10 times. And we're only 5 minutes in, so let's go.
And if you try different f-stops of the video, it seems to me that wide open at f1.4 for this lens is not the most natural view. It's too blurry.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not seeing the real world like this, except perhaps after a few beers. So
Facts.
stop down more is roughly what the human eye sees.
Yeah.
The subject you're looking at is in focus, and the rest of the scene is less focused.
Yeah, ain't no one is looking in 1.4 aperture. Unless you have like blue eyes, you're not looking in 1.4 aperture. What is the aperture of my eyeballs? That's what I want to know. What is the aperture of my eyeballs?
but
Someone tell
not
me.
completely blurred. If you're trying to recreate this natural-looking perspective in another medium, then this is the kind of view you'd need to try and produce. And in terms of painting as the medium, before the advent of photography, artists painted their subjects without a huge amount of blur in the background or the foreground. They don't
Interesting.
use a lot of smooth blurring techniques to help isolate their subjects. I'm going to consider painters briefly.
I've never thought about that, but I always love thinking about how art, like painting art and photography, like kind of feed and collab with each other, right? Like, look, 1679, there's no such thing as depth of field or bokeh, right? Everything is almost in focus. Like, kind of, right?
Before getting onto photography, because I think it's a relevant debate to see how artists influence early photographers, and then how photography, in turn, actually ended up having quite an influence on art in the modern era.
That's crazy.
Let's start with portrait painting.
Let's go.
The great artists of the past, and I'm thinking of the classical painters, not modern painters, tended to use two main compositional techniques when they painted portraits. They either painted a very neutral background to isolate their subjects, or they painted a variety of detailed objects in the background.
Fam, do you not get what this is? This is essentially studio photography versus outdoor photography, or like lifestyle with like a setting. It's literally what that is. It's two kinds of photography,
In a room,
I think. Don't quote me on that.
in a landscape, or religious iconography, for example. Neither type of composition showed much sign of what we'd call bokeh, although there are some exceptions. Hans Holbein, to pick one of many great portrait artists, was a technically brilliant painter. He produced very lifelike portraits.
1497. Yo, they had paper back then. They had colored. Is that so ignorant for me to say? Like they had paper. They had paper.
Based on extremely accurate drawings, and there's no doubt he had an advanced understanding of perspective and depth of field, as he showed with this skull, painted to be seen from the side of the canvas.
Wait, what?
Holbein used neutral backgrounds, he showed with this skull, painted to be seen from the
I have never seen a painting with that in it. So if you look at it from the side, it's not weird looking like that. Like that looks like someone terribly tried to drag over a corner in Photoshop and skewed the perspective. Like that's actually part of the painting.
side of the canvas. Holbein used neutral backgrounds in some portraits, or when he painted objects in the background, they are invariably seen in great detail.
Wow, dude, that portrait to the bottom right is beautiful. The one that my face is covering.
All the different objects were carefully selected and positioned to tell a story of the sitter's occupation, or wealth, or religious beliefs, and they were painted to show the details and not blurred. It's the same technique with other master painters like Vermeer, who used neutral backgrounds to give a strong 3D pop, or alternatively, he documented objects in the background, again in detail and in focus, rather than blurred. Not all great portrait painters were detailed in their depictions.
Look, if you guys are watching this and you don't know who Rembrandt, I mean, I didn't know his name was Rembrandt van Rijn. If you don't know what Rembrandt lighting is, this is it. This is so good. I am so glad they are showing this because this is essentially one of the most important lighting setups. Like if you're in a studio with a big photographer, they will literally be like, all right, give me a Rembrandt sort of style of lighting. And as you can see, Rembrandt is to the side and up. So it's almost like coming down at a diagonal. So like if you look at that middle, see how it's kind of like coming down on him, and it should leave a little like triangle under your other eye sometimes. I think. I'm pretty sure it's Rembrandt, right? Like you see that in the middle, how it kind of comes across his face.
Of faces. Some use very strong and narrow transitions from light to dark and broader brushstrokes to bring the portraits alive.
But what's really interesting about these portraits is you don't see the detail in their eyeball. Isn't that interesting? I kind of feel like as a photographer... Oh, what'd someone say? Rembrandt was fond of dramatic selfies. Yeah, facts, dude. I mean, if you look at it, like, there's no eyeball detail, right? Like, I feel like as a photographer, we're so worried about seeing the eyeball, but in a lot of times, if you look at that left photo, it's like hitting the side of his face. It's very dark and mysterious. I love that. Huh.
A technique used by another Dutchman, Rembrandt for example, but still this is more about lighting and brushstrokes than out of focus blur. And on to the great landscape artists. This is an interesting area because the early painters didn't paint what we consider to be a natural perspective at all, with a diminishing point in the composition. However, this changed over time, and artists painted much more realistic and natural-looking perspectives, even if the scenes were often imagined.
Oh, if you guys are just tuning in, like Wallaby Party, we were watching here, I'll minimize it, you can see a thing about bokeh, how it's evolving and how digital photography is elevating bokeh to an art form. So I guess bokeh is like an effect. No, it's not an effect of digital photography. It's just a photographic effect. Yeah, this shit's crazy. I've had my mind blown like 10 times, and we're only 8 minutes in.
And like portrait painters, they also tended to use light and dark, rather than blur, to give their paintings a sense of depth. At some point in history, probably before the 1600s, artists started to use the earliest form of camera, the camera obscura. They traced images that were projected onto a canvas through a pinhole, and this helped them draw scenes and perspectives from real life. Canaletto is just one of many famous artists we could feature.
Wait, am I the only one that was confused by that? Can we go back? Camera obscura? Interesting. So they had a mirror and a light box?
Draw scenes and perspectives from real life. Canaletto is just one of many famous.
I feel like I'm like not getting it.
Dark, rather than blur, to give their paintings a sense of depth. At some point in history, probably before the 1600s, artists started to use the earliest form of camera, the camera obscura. They traced images that were projected onto a canvas through a pinhole, and this helped them draw scenes and perspectives from real life. Canaletto is just one of many famous.
They traced scenes projected from a pinhole. Interesting. So it would be a pinhole, and it looked like they had a mirror on the roof or something, right? And then that reflected it down. At least I think. I don't know.
And this helped them draw scenes and perspectives from real life. Canaletto is just one of many famous artists we could feature here. His paintings are so incredibly detailed, capturing real-life views, but again without the kind of selected blurring away from the center that the human eye might see. Now perhaps the most influential piece of art today is Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa. This painting combines a portrait with a landscape behind, and it's so famous. It's almost a cliché with that smile, but it's interesting for another reason. Whether or not the painting looked like this when...
Yo, is she smiling? You guys think she's smirking or smiling? Is that a smize? Is this like the earliest trace of happiness in the world? I mean, I would love to know more about this painting, because the more I know about it, the more I can either hate it or defend it. Because I honestly love to hate on it. But I didn't know he was groundbreaking with his bokeh, his blurred background. We found out that bokeh means blurred beauty. Something like that.
It was first
in Japanese.
Painted. Today it has a rather appealing, soft and dreamy look to the face.
Sorry to keep pausing it so fast, but I've seen this before in the Louvre, and it's literally like this big. It's like 2 feet tall. It's so small. It's kind of underwhelming in person. I'm not gonna lie.
Face and to the landscape. And I think this may be one of the reasons why it's so incredibly popular today. That dreaminess is not nearly as bold or sharp as many other works of art. The vast majority of artists completely avoided painting blurred images. It just wasn't commercial. Until, that is, you get to an artist like Turner. Turner took the painting of blur and natural light effects to a whole new level, especially in his watercolors. He painted from on-the-spot observation, and then added his own brand of magic. And personally, when I think about cameras and lenses that produce images with a lovely painterly quality and beautiful bokeh, then Turner is an artist whose paintings reflect this look the most of all. Turner died in 1851, and by then the world was entering the photographic age. So let's turn to bokeh and blur and photography. The very earliest photographs, of course, were attempts to capture images on light-sensitive materials, and some of the earliest ones have a rather appealing blurry look, but not deliberately. As photographic techniques improved...
You guys ever look at old photos of Native Americans? What'd you say, Wallaby? It looks like she's being told not to smile. It kind of does. She must have been a happy chick. Da Vinci. Or she could be upset. It's so controversial. That's gonna be like an opener or like a question at the next art show I go to. I'm gonna be like, do you think the Mona Lisa is smiling or nah? That's how we're gonna get our host. That's gonna be the pickup line, right? You see a girl staring at a photo, or you see a girl staring at a piece of art. Walk up, stand like somewhat next to her, like stand next to her, be like, "This is so cool, but I've always wondered, is the Mona Lisa smiling?" Right? Anyways, let's go.
The ability to capture detailed formal portraits transformed photography and the art market, giving many more people access to having their portraits taken. It was much cheaper and quicker than having your portrait painted. Perhaps not surprisingly, portrait photographers tended to adopt the conventions used by classical portrait painters. Photographers either framed their sitters against a neutral background, or they had a more detailed, carefully arranged background. Here's a collection of formal portrait photos with those neutral backgrounds.
Yeah.
And most of these don't show any bokeh, although some do show a fair amount.
Speaking of photos of Indians, you see that background on the left? I have this book. I can't show you. I just type about it. And they were taking photos of early Native Americans, and they had like a painted backdrop of the West, and they would sit in front of it. It was so cheesy.
Carefully arranged background. Here's a collection of formal portrait photos with those neutral backgrounds. And most of these.
Yo, who's the girl on the right? I know y'all see her. Who is that? She looks so modern.
Don't show any bokeh, although some do show a fair amount of light vignetting that help give a more 3D feel to the portraits. And here's a collection of portraits with more detailed backgrounds. It's interesting to see that these backgrounds and props were sometimes scenes painted for the studio work, and photographers are
Told ya.
not adverse to touching up or hand colouring their photos. The longer exposures that photographers used in the early film era meant that bokeh was.
Oh my god, guys, are those real photos up top? Do you see those photos? Yo, I have those backdrop colors. Are those real photos from the 70s?
Not really a feature of most images.
Right, Wallaby? I seem freaking. We gotta go back. Yo, I'm crushing from someone who's like super dead. Who is that? Who is that girl on the right? Can someone tell me? Well, there's not many of us watching because it's a new live stream, but that girl is fire. Holy shit. I've never seen an old photo and thought the person was attractive until now. Like, literally, I've seen thousands of old photos, and I've never thought a girl was attractive in those old photos. But that girl, all on the right, gives me hope.
To the portraits. And here's a collection of portraits with more detailed backgrounds. It's interesting to see that these backgrounds and props were sometimes scenes painted for the studio.
Yo, look at that photo in the middle with that photographer taking that portrait. You know, guys, you know what we're really watching here? This is the golden age of photography. This is when they needed us. This is when no one could do this at home. They came to us because we had something special and we knew how to do something that they couldn't. I actually had a big discussion with an older photographer in his 70s about this change in consumer grade photography equipment. And he told me some crazy stories. I'll go into that one day, not now, but there definitely was a big shift in a photographer's value or trade once cell phones, or I guess the iPhone, got up to par, where no one had to go in to take a portrait, right? But you want to take a photo of your newborn, you couldn't do it yourself. You had to go to a photographer. Now, maybe go to a photographer. But yeah, it's just cool to see. Like that photo on the bottom right. Guys, like, I'm taking my time with this because this is amazing stuff. Like, that photo on the bottom right, look at that scene painted behind her and like the outfits he's got on the sides.
Work. And photographers are not adverse to touching up or hand colouring their photos. The longer exposures that photographers used in the early film era meant that bokeh was not really a feature of most images. Indeed, even as late as the 1970s, photographers generally tried to avoid over-busy backgrounds as part of their formal compositions, rather than try to blur out those busy backgrounds, as we tend to do more often today. Film and film development was relatively expensive, so there was
Here we go, baby. Film developing, some film.
little desire or commercial reason to experiment with taking more blurry images. The artistic element to photographs was created by the composition of the subject, the framing of the image, the lighting and the contrasts and so on. That's not to say that lens manufacturers were unaware of the out-of-focus characteristics of their lenses. Take this Carl Zeiss Jena Biotap from the late 1940s. It has no less than 17 aperture blades, and all these blades are designed to give nice round shapes in the out-of-focus areas, more pleasing to the eye than the geometric shapes of lesser bladed lenses.
Yo, That's like an argument for old lenses right there. I've heard so many times from older photographers that old lenses have like a special feel to them. 17 blades. I don't know how many blades normally go into an old lens, but that looks beautiful.
To focus areas, more pleasing to the eye than the geometric shapes of lesser bladed lenses. And the so-called bokeh monsters, made from the 1960s onwards with multiple blades, had the same objective, not simply to produce
The Bokeh Monsters. Whoa. The Bokeh Monsters. Why does that sound like Pokemon Monsters? The Bokeh Monsters. I'm trying to be a Bokeh Monster.
smooth bokeh wide open, because the number of blades is relevant wide open, but to produce smoother bokeh stop down, when the blades do really make a difference. However, in general, in the film era, the aesthetics of out of focus areas were not such a big deal as they are today.
True.
Photographers' compositions and framing, on the other hand,
True. You guys hear that?
such a big deal, but to produce smoother bokeh stop down, when the blades do really make a difference. However, in general, in the film era, the aesthetics of out of focus areas were not such a big deal as they are today.
Yeah, because sometimes with film, some things are just softer, so out of focus wasn't that big of a deal.
Photographers' compositions and framing, on the other hand, did have more of an impact, including an impact on artists. And you can see this most notably in the work of some of the Impressionists, the way they cut off the angles and frame their compositions, and the way they started to paint scenes involving a lot of action, actions that photographers were able to capture in a way really never seen before. And take a look at the Impressionist.
Yo, could you imagine when photography first came out and you saw a photo of like a horse galloping? That must have blown someone's mind, right? Do you guys know that the actual first motion picture was of a train? Pokemon. Pokemon. Oh my god, I love that. No data. Wait, why is my stream saying no data? Okay, excellent connection. Yeah, Pokemon. Did you guys know that the first moving picture was actually of a train and that people in the audience were like fainting and passing out? Did you guys know that? You probably didn't know that. Yeah, like people were literally having a tough time looking at a moving picture, like just of a train coming sort of like at them, but it would go past them, kind of like that. People were like freaking out in the audience.
Paintings by Georges Seurat. They're a bit like very grainy pixelated photographs, and they lack any sense of bokeh or blur. As photography and photographic gear developed into the 1970s,
Tell me that's not aesthetic. The photo on the right is so aesthetic. Look at that. Look at that.
bokeh was still not really a major part of photography. It wasn't even a word we used. I was a student in the 1970s, and
Yo, this is like before and after glow up. Look at him with the facial hair and he hits like the angle. A little jaded, right? That's like freshman versus senior year. He came out definitely a little jaded.
keen photographer, and along with others from the time, I can hardly ever remember using my fast 50 prime lenses wide open. Wide open, one learned, didn't produce the sharpest results across the frame, so we stopped down, sometimes a little, sometimes a lot, depending on the light mainly. We only tended to use lenses wide open when we were trying to capture scenes indoors or in poor light, in rooms, museums, or churches. I've read many other amateur and professional photographers online saying the same thing. What we now know of as bokeh was not nearly so important.
Yeah.
In fact, the first time I was aware of a really bokeh-rich image commercially was this one, from a Pink Floyd album released.
What? Yo, what? So this blew people's minds? You show this to someone now, they're gonna be like, yeah, what? What? Like, no one's impressed by this.
Released in 1972, and I'd have called it an abstract photo in those days, although it's actually created from what we would now call bokeh. The image fascinated me and was, at least
Do you notice a person in the middle? There's a person in the middle, laying down. Do you see him? You see the arms going across?
in my opinion, not just a photograph, but a work of art.
Huh.
So now we move into the digital era,
This is
and this is
crazy.
where the use of bokeh as a compositional and indeed artistic technique has really taken off.
Yo, if you are the two people watching this, thank you. I love you. Thank you for being part of my first day live streaming. Just having fun with it. Yeah.
There's a lot more interest in how bokeh adds value to an image, either by helping to
Yeah. We're gonna get to a point where he goes, and then Instagram completely took a shit on Bokeh.
isolate the subject in focus, smoothing out even busy backgrounds rather than relying on a neutral background, or by
That's a video right there. Bokeh on film photography. That's a video.
providing a unique look to an image with the kind of effects I ran through at the beginning of the video. These effects can sometimes overpower the subject in focus, and the bokeh becomes the main point of the photograph.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's possible to give a precise date or event that encouraged photographers to consider bokeh as a more important part of their image, if indeed they were trying to use
That's
bokeh
beautiful.
as a feature. But I think the advent of the internet and the sharing of photos online certainly had a major impact. My own experience is that as soon as I saw what kind of images other people were posting online, and I liked the results, I started to experiment with settings on digital cameras, and I started to use fast prime lenses wide open, exploiting what they could do in terms of narrow depths of field and bokeh. Digital cameras have given us all the freedom to take many more photographs.
Yeah, I feel like digital cameras have done a lot of good in the long term, have done a lot of bad for photographers. Good, now everyone can take photos and crystallize moments forever. Bad because we have Instagram photographers like Alex Stemp, but he's a TikTok photographer. But we have like people who just do bokeh for everything. Like, I mean, I'm guilty of it. When I first started photography, bro, fam. Oh, whoops. I need a hotkey for this. But fam, when I started photography, everything I took was wide open. Like, I would take fashion photos and be like, why is my photo kind of blurry? Because I was shooting like f1.8. I just loved the blurriness. I thought it looked more pro. Yeah, I need like a thing here. All right.
Only constrained by the size of storage media. In the past, it was a major undertaking to carefully use up a roll of 36 shots in one session, and it took time and money to get the results processed. Today, we can happily snap away without caring about the costs, reviewing the results in real time, and deleting the losers. There's no doubt this has encouraged people to become much more adventurous in their photography and experiment with different
That's a positive. People have gotten more adventurous and experiment more with digital photography than they could with film.
settings in different conditions. In the past, for example, people wouldn't have dreamt of pointing a camera nearly directly into the sun, but now photographers are much more willing to take these kinds of liberties and see how it turns out.
True. Big facts.
The high quality of cameras and lenses and phones with automatic settings and software has made photography so much easier. We can all produce sharp, colourful, high-definition images at the snap of a button.
Yo, after looking at all these old photos and looking at this one photo of just like nature, I'm so blown away. Right? I'm so blown away looking at this photo now.
So searching for bokeh in particular has been a way of extending interest in photography. It gives us a new set of challenges, playing around with subjects and compositions
Yo, I'm doing a YouTube video and I'm gonna call it Pokemon. Swear to God.
with extreme lighting conditions, or busy backgrounds, or extreme depths of field. And sometimes the results are beautiful and artistic, or at least beautiful and artistic in our own eyes. More photographers have started to appreciate the bokeh characteristics of specific new and old lenses, and lenses and lens designs that produce special bokeh characteristics have become much more desirable. In recognition of this trend, lens manufacturers have been more acutely aware of the need to design new lenses that produce good bokeh. You can tell from their marketing literature that's become a key selling proposition, with lens makers promoting lenses that balance sharpness with smooth and natural-looking bokeh.
It's a noob trap. Bokeh is the noob trap.
And some lenses
Yeah, after this, we're going to look at some cool bokeh lenses. I'm going to show you guys some ones that I know about, and maybe we'll find some other ones. Like Tilt Shift by Lens Baby that he's looking at. Those are crazy. We'll look at those.
manufacturers, such as Lens Baby and Lomography's Pretzel lenses, have designed lenses specifically to exploit unusual bokeh effects in what is intended to be used in a more artistic way. At the same time, interest in old film-era lenses has also grown, lenses that produce some very interesting bokeh effects, including lenses that in the past were not considered to be particularly special, or worse, they were considered to be badly designed with optical flaws. It helps, of course, that old prime lenses are often a good deal cheaper to buy than new lenses, and it can be a lot of fun learning new skills and experimenting with the old lenses. And one of the lessons I've learned, which is contrary to conventional
Wow, that's beautiful.
wisdom, is that you don't need an ultra-fast lens to get great bokeh.
Wow, guys, look at that. Look at that bokeh. Look at that smooth blur. That sexy. Look, that is crazy looking. I love that he tells us the lens and the f-stop he's using too. That's so crucial. That's super crucial.
Some of my most interesting older lenses are only as fast as f2.8 or 3.5 or
Wow, look at that. That's crazy.
even 4, and yet they still produce magical bokeh on occasions. For example, this f4 macro lens. And you don't even need to use your lens wide open to get great
Oh my God. What the fuck is this? Who let this happen? That's crazy.
Coupled with the freedom that digital cameras give us, we also have far more control over the processing of the images, with software that enables us to push and pull the exposures, contrast, colors, and play around with the blurred areas. This can be as creative a process as taking the photograph itself. Indeed, we can easily use software to Bokerize any image, as I've done with this painting. I can even give images a swirly look.
Time out. Did you just say Bokeh eyes?
Add in lens image, as I've done with this painting. Indeed, we can easily use software to Bokerize any image, as I've done with this painting.
Bokerize?
I can even give images a swirly look, and add in lens flares for good measure.
Yo, he just used the default lens flare. We gotta call him out. Look.
I can even give
That's actually tight. How did he do that? That's actually tight. I want to use that for a shoot.
images a swirly look, and add in lens flares for good measure.
Yo, that lens flare, if you can see it still, is so trash. That is like the default Photoshop lens flare. Don't ever use that.
And as we all know, the more recent mobile phones have inbuilt bokeh filters that have introduced the concept of bokeh and the creative use of bokeh to an even wider audience. So in conclusion, I'd argue that bokeh is very much a modern phenomenon. It's a product of the digital era, and for the first time has become a key part of compositions. And it's not just background blur from fast lenses. It can be a lot more than that. Foreground blur, unusual shapes and features, wide open or stop down. And it's not just about cameras and lenses. It's also about the use of software to create more artistic images.
This is one of those things where if I call something blurry in the background bokeh, someone's gonna think I don't know what I'm talking about. But I am, because like I heard a guy in an English accent say that. Right? Like I didn't know the actual definition of bokeh was just blur and low depth of field. Like, how good is your blur? I didn't know that. That's really cool. More than smooth out of focus blur, more than wide open. Yeah. But digital era has elevated bokeh. More background blur, facts. More wide open, yes, because of autofocus. And I got to burp on that one, sorry guys. Because of more wide open because of autofocus, and you won't mess up your film. You have 36 shots. You're not wasting $1 on a film. I don't know, like a bad shot, depending on how much you're paying for it. Anyways.
About cameras and lenses. It's also about the use of software to create more artistic
This makes me want to experiment with blur in Photoshop.
images.
I wasn't going anywhere with that.
All this discussion, of course, is directed at photographers who value bokeh-rich images. It's important to say that not all photographers want a lot of bokeh in their images. Product photographers and landscape photographers and others may simply want a lot of in-focus details across the frame. And for fashion photographers, well, it always depends on what is fashionable at the time. Sometimes the fashionable thing is to show softer focus images with a lot of smooth, artsy blur, including a retro look, while at other times it's more fashionable to have high-definition, digitally crisp images.
He could have shown some examples right there. I'm just saying, this guy's made an amazing video. He got lazy at the last minute. He could have showed some cool examples.
While at other times it's more fashionable to have high-definition, digitally crisp images. And I certainly wouldn't want to claim that images with a lot of bokeh are the only way digital cameras are elevating photography to an art form.
Yo, he just sent shots.
There are many superb bokeh at crisp images.
What's this?
And I certainly wouldn't want to claim that images with a lot of bokeh are the only way digital cameras are elevating photography to an art form.
I have to process that one.
There are many superb photographs online that have no bokeh at all and are brilliant pieces of art. And if you look at Flickr's top 25 photos of the year, to take one example, the majority of photos don't have any bokeh. However, I do think that the...
Hold up, that's a good idea for a segment. Flickr's top 25. I gotta write this down. Guys, hold up. Fam, I gotta write this down. Hold up, 1 second. Guys, I'm a note taker. Look at this. Always take notes. I gotta write down these stream ideas. Look, if you want me to stream more, look, we're gonna get back to the movie, but if you want me to stream more, I need to have ideas. I'm not just gonna hop on a stream and sit here and do nothing or play video games. That shit's so lame. All right, let's go back to that, because that's totally inspo. All right, we're gonna not tomorrow, but sometime this week we're gonna look at Flickr's. Where to come here? That's gonna be sick. Flickr's top 25 photos. We're gonna react to that this week. That'd be cool. Gotta write that down. All right. Hey, you guys, gotta save your ideas.
The majority of photos don't have any bokeh. However, I do think that the increased use of bokeh, where it's relevant, has given an exciting new lease of life to photography, with more and more people experimenting with different kinds of bokeh on cameras and on mobile phones. People are not simply trying to take accurate or naturally lifelike photographs. They're actively trying to create more artistic images with unique looks and having a lot of fun in the process. That's my view anyway, and I'm very interested to see what you think about this discussion. I'm sure I've missed some key points, so please use the comments section below to tell me what you think. Many thanks for watching. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, and I'll be posting...
Dude, how sick was that? That was an awesome movie night. That was so awesome, but we're gonna discuss this, guys, but that was so sick. I need to tell this guy awesome video. Awesome vid. Awesome. Awesome vid. I jacked it for content. But I did subscribe and I left a comment. That's the least I could do for jacking someone's content and research, right? Dude, that was so sick. I want to show you guys this part in the beginning again. Wait, where is it? He had something about like Japanese and bokeh. Right here. Dude, how sick is this? Bokeh is it derives from Japanese and it means blur quality. What is the quality of your blur? So bokeh is the quality of your blur. That was super sick. That was one of my favorite parts of this movie. That was so sick. One of my other favorite parts is when he was showing the different kinds of bokeh. Yo, we gotta look at that. I think it's right here.
Not because they're great lenses wide open, but because they're great lenses stopped down. I'm thinking especially of bokeh monsters that have loads of...
Bokeh monsters. I'm thinking of bokeh monsters.
But because they're great lenses stopped down. I'm thinking especially of bokeh monsters that...
Bokeh monsters. Pokemon.
That have loads of aperture blades. Background. Wonderful variety. For example, bokeh circles.
Yep, here we go. This is sick.
Cat size.
Didn't know that.
Bubble bokeh.
Dude, that is sick. I have never seen bubble bokeh. This was such a sick part of this. Bubble bokeh.
There are obvious lines around the circles.
That's sick.
Onion ring bokeh with rings within the rings.
He's capping on this. That's not real. If you can't show me a photo with it and it'll only show me a close-up of that bokeh, I don't believe you. But that's sick.
And donut bokeh from...
I've never seen this either. I've never seen donut bokeh. You know what, guys? We gotta Google it. Donut bokeh. Wow, what's typing, dude? I don't even know what typing is. Let's look at this. I want to see some donut bokeh. Bokeh seems similar to the idea of impressionism. What? Maybe. Well, he mentioned impressionism, remember? He was talking about impressionism, but that's donut bokeh. How sick is that? That's just good old bokeh behind her. I have never seen that. That shit ain't real. This shit ain't real. This shit ain't real. Okay, that's pretty tight. But that's bubble bokeh kind of, right? Impression. Oh, but specifically for photography. Well, where was it? He was talking about impressionism in the paintings. Hold up. Where was it? Oh, anyways, hey guys, fun fact. Is she smiling or smizing or nah? We'll never know. Right about, where was it? He was talking about impressionism and all this shit. This part was epic. Yo, if you guys don't know Rembrandt, that was epic. All right, yo, okay, anyways. I want to go to lomography, and I want to show you guys their Bokeh lenses. They're really sick. They're super sick. Yo, guys, one day, I promise you, we're going to get an official lomography collab on this channel. We're going to get sponsored or we're going to get a collab. I don't care what no one says. I've been shooting lomography products since I was like 13. So that's a goal. I've never seen it, but it's my goal. Here we go. New Pets Vol. $540. These look crazy. Let's just click on one. So, what do they look like? They can't show me no photos? For $550, you're not gonna show me no photos? Trash, dude. Come on. But yeah, lomography makes some. Oh, here we go. Here's some photos of some. Dude, look at that bokeh. Oh my god. After watching that video and then looking at this, I have a newfound appreciation for bokeh. That is so sick. Guys, I need bokeh tomorrow. I need bokeh like tonight. Oh my. Yo, bokeh is sick. Something I would also love to do is like a photo battle, and I'd have like a challenge, and it would be like a weekly thing, or maybe like a daily thing. I don't know. And I'd be like, all right, guys, the challenge this week is bokeh. And then at the end of that week, we'd have another live stream after people submitted their photos, and we'd pick a winner, and they'd win something. And hopefully we had sponsors, or I would just maybe give you something. Give you what I have left in the bank or something. I don't know. Or like, so yeah, some sponsors. Imagine if like Lomography sponsored gave away free lenses for a bokeh battle. Person with the best bokeh photo voted by me. Got it? Come on. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh my god. I want one now. I want one. How much are they? What is this for? Like, what camera? I'm so confused. Do you have to buy a mount for this? I have no idea. I just know they make... What's this? Oh. What? Lumagon Art Lens Canon EF mount? $600? Let's look at this thing. That looks swaggy P. I'm not even gonna lie. Ooh, God, I love the aesthetic. Looks so good. You're telling me you wouldn't get the five? I don't know if I like that blur though. Dude, that is a beautiful fucking photo. I don't care what any of y'all say. That is beautiful. Oh my god, look at that. The other lens looked cooler, to be honest. I don't like this one as much. This doesn't look good. Wait. Oh, so they have Petsfall 80 and Petsfall 50 millimeter. I feel like the oh, here, Canon EF Petsfall. Oh, guys, we got to look this up. This literally says Bokeh Control. Guys, we got to look this up. Come on. I got to see what the bokeh looks like. Oh, snap. We got a video. Let's watch it. Let's watch it.
I think it's really amazing that Lomo decided to bring back an old historic lens.
The new aperture ring is so helpful in the field.
Produces this beautiful bokeh around the subjects.
Oh my god.
It's a pretty exciting lens to be able to have and to be able to use.
You see, guys, this is why we gotta get the photography clout up. So we can have money to buy shit like this, to make videos on shit like this, to like get sponsorships and do cool shit. There's so much stuff I want to do, but I just need to build a big enough community. It's something I've just been so bad at.
Hi, my name is Julia Kroshlov, and I'm a photographer based in Brooklyn, New York. The 80.5
Yeah, I bet you are.
focal length is especially unique and nice to have when you're shooting portraits.
Oh my. I want some fucking bokeh right now. Right fucking now. Yo, you think there's one on Craigslist? Time out. You think we could find one on Craigslist? Alright, maybe not. Let me look up lomography. For sale. Actually, while we're here, let's just look up film camera. Can I see anything tight? See anything worth? What do we see? What do we see? Yo, I just want to find like a bokeh lens now. I'm so spoiled. Look, this guy's buying digital and film. Oh, that guy's like taking on more business. Anyways, let's watch this video. That shit was tight.
But you can't be so close to your subject.
So my name is Richie Duque. I'm a filmmaker and a photographer.
You see that fucking beard and that jacket? I literally looked at, me and him share the same look. I look just like that, and if I had short hair, well, it wouldn't be as curly, but him, similar aesthetic.
You know, a reason I wanted to shoot with a new Petzl art lens was also that it always has this kind of special characteristic that kind of sets you apart.
You know, you're shooting with it because it's a brand deal. I'm scared of getting a copyright claim. That is sick.
The director of the Penumbra Foundation in New York City. The thing about the Petzl lens is that it's many lenses in one. So the Petzl has a curved field. It's called the Petzl effect. Now, back in the 19th century, they would use a lens that would cover much more than the lens was used for because the curved field created this sweet spot in the lens that was sharp. We discovered that we like the area outside of that sharp spot. That's where all the swirly bokeh and the interesting things happen.
Oh my God. Yo, tell me you don't want that.
My name is Marcus Russell Price. I'm a photographer and videographer living in Brooklyn, New York.
Aren't you? I bet you are.
Until now, you'd have to go and hunt for some of these ancient lenses that are really hard to find. But Lomo's taking out the legwork for us, and they developed.
Yo, that's a camera hack of how to get sick bokeh. Shoot through a fence.
Their own line of Petzl lenses, so that's why I get really excited and
That's a shot right there.
geeked out to use them. The aperture ring is non-indexed, which means it doesn't have that click, click, click that you might be used to. It has a very smooth sweep to it, so it's great for video use.
Bokeh Control was designed to
Guys, we're talking about bokeh.
have a dial-in or a different amount of bokeh that can be used or changed according to how much you turned the dial on the lens from the least amount of bokeh of 1 to the most amount of bokeh of 7.
I'm jealous. Yo, if you have not subscribed, you've been watching this whole time, shame. Oh my God. Yo, I can't watch this. I'm too broke. But yeah, that video was super, super sick. Do we want to look at more bokeh shit or not? Oh, it's for pre-order for $550. Guys, I'm gonna need way more views on my videos to buy one of those. That is crazy. That's crazy. I'm so jealous. Dude, why don't I have unlimited money? You know how much sick shit I could do? Let's look up lens, baby. I want to look at more bokeh lenses, and then we'll probably just be done. Sad. Yo, guys, look at that bokeh. Look at that bokeh. Lens effects. Sweet. Oh, what? That's sick. Velvet swirl. Yo, the edge is really dope. The edge effect. I'm not gonna make any comments about that. Oh my God! Look at that. So how do I get the edge effect? Where's the camera for that? Buy now. Oh, these are a lot cheaper than I thought they were. So I gotta look at these photos and figure out which one we liked. I don't even know which one I would. That would take so much research to figure this shit out. But let's just look at this one. It's like the first one. Composer Pro 2 with Sweet 35. Oh my god. I just wish I had so many lenses, guys. Guys, we're talking about bokeh. That shit is so sick. I want to see photos, though. Why are they showing me all this, but no... Oh, here we go. Let's see any cool bokeh effects? I don't know. Like, how often would you really use this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd use the Pet's Fall lens by Lomography way more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how much you really about to use that shit, for real? What am I looking at? Do you guys see this shit right here? The Omni Creator... I kind of want to kill myself looking at this stuff. What? What are these mini swords? What? This is so... What? Have you guys ever seen this? It looks like a sword from, like, League of Legends. Like an ice sword or some shit. And, like, a see-through cell phone. What? I want to see some photos. Oh, no. Oh, no. Omni Flare, and they have expansion packs? Omni Crystal expansion pack? Yo! You guys think if I reach out to a company like this, they would respond? Guys, we're going to need more live streams to get some sponsors like this. Guys, I'm telling you, if I ever had some sick sponsors of this live stream or like a giveaway or something, I would give all this shit away. If they gave me this stuff to test, I would give it away in like a competition of like the best photo of the week or something. We'd have a bokeh showdown. I'd issue it on like a Sunday, and then the next Sunday we'd pick the winner, and then I'd send them free gifts. Wait, who did this?
Hey everyone, for today's behind the scenes.
Hey everyone. Sorry guys, YouTubers bother me, but she's cute.
I'm so excited to be using the LensBaby Omni Creative Filter System.
It's a mouthful.
Today we're going to be taking photos with the
Julia Trotti. I've heard of her name before. I don't watch her.
The original filter system. We also have the
Listen to that crispy audio she's got.
While I'm taking photos.
Oh my god.
Perfect. Oh, my hair's getting
What?
my face.
Let's make this bigger so we
come
can see.
just over here again. Move this to like the top.
Yo, her model's stunning.
And in the shade, it creates a more motion blur effect.
What is this shit down here? What is this shit down here? Guys, what? Oh, she's showing the screen recording. Oh, shit. Oh my god, I want one. Alright guys, we're writing this down. Video idea.
The next one in my pocket. This one has like a little rainbow.
What's this shit called again?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Oh, that looks so pretty.
This shit is called the LensBaby Omni System. LensBaby. We're gonna do a video on this. I'm gonna buy this. This has to happen. This would be so sick. Yo, guys, you want to hear a crazy idea? Guys, crazy idea. We're going to keep looking at this crazy photography effects to get epic bokeh. But, yo, I have this idea of doing a live stream photo shoot. And I actually think I could do it here in my studio apartment. So, here, let me go to my full screen so you guys can see this. You guys see this right here? You see this pole? So, I have pretty tall ceilings in here. Dude, what? This guy's trying to talk to me. So I have pretty tall ceilings in here, and I'm gonna put a backdrop going across this entire wall. I don't want to get up, but I'm gonna mount. I have like a bunch of like 10-foot backdrops. I'm gonna mount the holders into the walls so we can just pull it down. And then I want to get a camera and a cord long enough, and I'm gonna bring the camera to the backdrop, and we can live stream a photo shoot. No one's ever done that on YouTube, I don't think. A live stream photo shoot. I'll have to be very careful about what she's wearing, but that would be so fun. That'd be so fun. All right, let's go back. I'm more curious about these effects. This is a really well done video.
And
so bottom right is what it looks like in her camera. So somehow she's screen recording her camera. I don't know what
Finally,
that shit
for
is.
the original Omni pack, we have the rainbow film, which I think is one of my favorites of this pack. I love the subtle rainbow glow it adds to your photos, especially if you place it around the edges of your frame. If you want a more extreme look with this filter, when I had the sun directly hitting my lens, the rainbow was much more visible and vibrant in the shot.
I'm gonna get a close-up of your face here too.
I edited all these photos with my Amalfi Lightroom preset pack, which I'll leave linked down below for you. And I also included the before photos so you can clearly see what each filter looks like before I...
Yo, I just thought about it. I could literally... Could I live view my digital camera for a live photo shoot? I would need a long enough USB cord or something. Yeah, I would need a long enough HDMI cord, and I could do it. That'd be really cool.
I edit the colors. One thing I wanted to mention when you're editing photos with these filters is to keep an eye on your HSL luminance and saturation, especially with filters with a rainbow effect in your HSL and get some and saturation.
Look what she's got plugged up to her camera.
Especially with...
She's got some crazy stuff in that camera. You guys see those plugs? Is that how she's screen recording?
Filters with a rainbow effect, you can get some banding around the colors, depending photos, or bring up the luminance until that banding.
Dude, I'm here for that. I love that model. I love that outfit. Julia Trotti's dope. I've seen her videos, but I'm not going to subscribe right now. Okay, I'm sold. This filter system is tight. I'm honestly really happy to see that. That is so cool. I'm really happy. I love seeing innovations in photography. It's only $100 for a system. Not bad. What's the expansion pack looking hella crispy? What? Dude, this looks so fun. I'm not gonna lie, this would make me shoot digital again. Dude, that's so cool. What else do they sell? I guess that's it. All right. Well, guys, let me go back to this. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. All right, guys. All right, guys. Well, that ends our Sunday movie night. I shouldn't say Sunday movie night because I don't know if this is going to happen every Sunday. But we are going to have a movie night once a week. So look forward to that live stream. Maybe Sundays. We might just do Sundays. We'll see. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. I'm really happy with how this stream went. I can't wait to stream more this week. Probably in the morning time. And yeah, that's it. I can't wait to drop some more videos this week. So that's it, guys. Peace out. That's it. That's the angle. Hope you enjoyed.